How to overcome opioid addiction. There are a few things in life that are as difficult as this, and it takes a person who is willing to want to change things in their life. That's the most important thing. Someone who surrenders and realizes that their life is a total mess. And so it takes guts and determination to do it. Going through withdrawal is a very, very uncomfortable thing, but the way to get through an opioid addiction, first of all, is to admit to myself and to others that I have a fucking problem. That's the hardest part for me. The next part is to seek help. Let my doctor know, let my family know what's going on in my life, explaining verbatim, in detail, what it is that I'm going through. The worst part of the addiction is hiding from others and isolating myself. And to beat the opioid addiction is to start being honest and open and candid with people. I can't emphasize that enough, the importance of being open and honest, explaining what's going on, coming out of my shell. So those are the first parts, I think, to overcoming an addiction. Letting my doctor know or a specialist know what I'm going through. They can put me on opioid replacement therapy, and this makes it a lot easier to come off the shit. We're talking about drugs like Suboxone, otherwise known as buprenorphine, and then there's the other classic one, which is known as methadone. These allow the user to hopefully get on these medications to substitute whatever it is their drug of choice was, to get on these new medications and then slowly taper off. Sometimes there's a rapid taper, that's what I did personally. But this allows the user to gently get off the medication so they don't go through the sheer terrors of dope sickness and withdrawal. I was taught as a physician, and nurses as well, are taught that the other class of drugs, the benzodiazepines, things like Valium and Xanax, as well as alcohol, it could be potentially fatal in withdrawal, and that we have to be very careful, highly vigilant, and give them medications to prevent that from happening. And we're taught that the opioids, well, is tough luck because it's not a fatal situation, the withdrawal. However, that's completely wrong. When I was going through withdrawal, I was suicidal, and that is definitely a cause of death. How do we get off of it? So, admitting I have a problem, letting my family and loved ones know, speaking to a professional like a physician who knows what they're doing. Not all physicians are experienced with this, but to an addictionist or addiction clinic, and they can get me onto opioid replacement therapy, which is either Suboxone or methadone. So that's the beginning stages, but then come the important part. So that's when a person goes through detox, that's what I'm talking about at that point, is when they go through withdrawal, but it's controlled withdrawal. The next part is rehabilitation, and this is super important. So recovery is not just abstaining from my drug of choice, it's also changing my lifestyle, the way I look at life, the way I make decisions, the way I handle stress. So this encourages things like getting out of my isolations, going to meetings, being social, going to 12-step meetings, for example, going to self-help groups, going to rehab, where I can learn to change my ways of living, so it increases my chances of overcoming the addiction. So in the short term, it's detox and recovery, and then there's long-term recovery. So these are the ways that a person gets off of the drugs, and it's followed by making good decisions. I'm in control of my life. My sobriety is there because I built a strong foundation because of what I've learned in recovery. The only way it can get dismantled is by me making the wrong choices. So life is full of choices. There's going to be opportunities where I could relapse, but I need to continue making good decisions based on what I learned in rehab.